Okay, so we're going to look at setting out this building using Revit and try and get all these main walls set out, and then maybe look at how you can get the openings to work, and also maybe even start setting out some of your own elements using something like Model in Place. So I've got a file already open in Revit, but I'm going to make a new project. Going to the main menu, choosing New, and then obviously Project. And, well, I'll just ask you, which template should you be using? Exactly, always architectural. Until you get your own. Hopefully before long you'll have your own, but for now you can just stick with architectural. And we've got the ground floor view, where for a project like this we can just start drawing to set out the main measurements. So you've got here a showroom which is 10.9 by 4.5. So, oh thanks, yep, cheers, great. Yep. And so I'm going to use a reference plane. I might just maximise this. Reference plane to set out the wall on the left hand side. Now you're all working in interior design or decoration, so if you can, use the interior dimensions. With the thing we just did, we used the exterior dimensions because that's what you were given. But if you've been given interior dimensions, the reference planes can represent your interior walls instead of, or the interior face of your walls. So I've got a vertical reference plane, and I'm going to also draw then a horizontal reference plane, which is going to represent the inside face of my, well, I was going to say my north wall, but it's actually going to be the south wall. North will be facing down this way. So then I'm going to draw another reference plane over here, using the next critical dimension, which is, or that dimension I just showed you, 10.9 metres, so 10,900. So I've just selected that reference plane, and if you aren't getting that, make sure you remember you can always press escape at any time twice to cancel everything, and then select any of those objects to adjust those dimensions. And then if you have an idea of the thickness of that wall, you can use a reference plane to set out the other side of it, which probably wouldn't be a bad idea. So here we can maybe assume they're cavity brick walls, and they have hopefully render both sides, and we can round that off to 15 mil each side, which means the wall could be possibly 300 mil. Just for the sake of convenience, I'll make it that. And then I'm going to do another reference plane for the back wall. Now the reference planes you use, it's really up to you, but it's just to make your life easier when you go to draw the walls in, really. And so then now the next space is 7.9 metres, or 7,900. And then I'm going to set the reference planes out going the other way. So I'm going to draw a reference plane here, going to the right, so it's parallel with the one above. And it is 4.5, 4,500. The space here at the back is a little bit wider because the wall there must be offset in some way. So it's 4.6, and in fact what I might do is say that's probably the more important dimension, and then work from the outer face of that wall that is basically an exterior wall. And again, just for the sake of convenience, I'm going to say that is possibly 300 as well. In reality it's probably a bit less, but we'll just make it that for now. Great thing about Revit, you can easily adjust virtually anything. We can do that later. So again, now I'm just going to put in my next horizontal reference plane for the final wall at the bottom there, which is, well, it's 4.8 wide, and that is from this what must be a narrower wall I think we can safely say, though, that the way this is dimensioned is probably not all that accurate. It's a real estate drawing after all, so I'm just going to say, let's make it 4800, and again, if we need to change it, we can do that later. So it's just to help you with the setup so you can quickly draw the walls. And so now I'm going to go right ahead and use the wall tool to draw my walls. And so for existing walls particularly, if you don't know the construction or if it's not important, keep it simple and use the simplest wall you can. And in this case, that will be one of the generic walls. And I've been trying to make these walls 300, so I'm just going to use generic 300 mil. Snap to the intersections there, and then, oh, now sorry, I forgot something, so I'm going to press escape once, which won't cancel the tool altogether. It'll just stop drawing that segment, and now I can put in the option I forgot, which was the location line. I'm going to set that to not finish face exterior, but finish face interior, because I've been using those interior measurements. So I'm going to click onto the intersection there, and my wall should go above that reference plane. And I can trace around now, and pretty quickly should be able to get the outline of the building. I've made a mistake there again and didn't go too far, or went maybe not far enough, so I'm going to press escape twice and select that wall, and I can always use the grips to adjust the endpoints as I go. And then back to the wall tool, I can just continue drawing with the same settings I had before. From there, across, back to the start point, and I've got a basic outline. Then this wall coming through the middle. Look, real estate drawings are often so far out that I would just say it's probably wrong, and we can say that both these spaces are the same size. In reality, they might be a little bit different, but it seems strange they've drawn it in line and then they said that it's 4.5, whereas the other one's 4.6. So I'm going to, and I'll just show you what I mean. Okay, so here 4.6 and 4.5, but it looks to me like that wall is basically in a line. So if we need to correct it, it can be done later. And for now, again, I'm just going to drag this wall. After I select it, using the grip there, can drag that through to extend to the other one. So it's not a bad idea to check your 3D views just to see the basic shell. And then before you go too far adding in anything else on that level, it's really important that you think about the levels overall. And so in any elevation view, in this case I'm just going to go to the north elevation, you can see your levels. I'm going to select one of them and extend using this open circle so that the levels are outside the building, so the names of those levels are to one side of the building. And then on the other end I might bring this one a bit closer. And you can see then hopefully the importance of the reference planes. They're not only there to give you something to trace over, in the elevations they can be really helpful so you can locate things. In this case we know where that interior wall is. And you know, you can see the other ones as well. And so I'm going to do the upper story, so I'm going to make a level now using the level tool here for that story. I'm not really that worried about the heights. I don't think you've been given a section anyway. So I'm just going to nominate some rough heights here. I might say level 1 is 3500, and then level 2 might be 7,000. And I just wanted to make them different so that you can see that the walls aren't attached to the levels at the moment. So next thing I'm going to do is go back to that 3D view where I can easily select all of those walls by making a window around them. And then in properties here, I can change the top constraint from unconnected to level 2, which will lock the top of the walls to that level. So I'll show you back in the north elevation now. If I move that level, and chances are I don't have the right ceiling height, so I will need to change that. When I move the level, the walls will go with the level. So it's important to think about how things are going to attach to your levels. And of course, this is only a 2-story building, so we don't have a level 2. We have level 1, ceiling. And what do you say here? Always yes. Yep, for this one, always yes. Okay, so that level will be used to put the roof and other things like that, and we'll again just have a look at these. Sorry, the images that you have. Where I first saw it a minute ago. Here we are. So you can see there. You can get some idea of the roof. We'll do the roof afterwards, though. But you want to start looking at the photos just to get an idea of the construction. I'll rotate the images back the other way so you can see that properly as well. But that's the main setup. And then maybe just one little thing. If you have walls like this that extend across multiple levels, you might want this wall not to go all the way through to that upper level where it's inside. So I'll just show you a simple thing you can do there. I'm going to go to level 1, and of course I can see the walls there the same as they are in ground floor. So back to level 1, and I'm going to go to the Modify tab and use Split Element. So you can break any wall into pieces using this tool. So with Split Element, I'm simply going to go to that corner and make sure it's giving me a line through this wall, not the other one. So notice how I've got a dashed line there going through that main wall. I'm going to click there. Can't see anything, but I'll cancel that now and select on the left, and it's going to select just that part, so it's broken the wall into those 2 pieces. And now I can set the top constraint of that wall to level 1, and it's going to change, so it's showing us now that it finishes below this level. If I look in my 3D view, you can see that. So that way you can break up your walls across different levels. They don't all need to continue through. And then once you've got the wall set up, we've got another one here with an opening, so I'll just show you that again. So here you've got a wall that actually extends through to here on this level, but again, probably on level 1, I might not want that, so I'll use that same method, Split Element, and break the wall at that intersection there. Doesn't matter which floor plan, you can do it in ground floor or level 1, and I can select this wall, and again, look at the top constraint, change that to level 1. It doesn't look any different in the ground floor plan, but in level 1, again, we can see the same thing, it's stopping. So in the 3D view, there it is. So I can use that approach again to get the opening. There's a better way, which we'll have to do later. Okay, so you've got there an opening actually in both of these walls, and no, I'll show you the better way, so we should do it the right way from the beginning. I was going to show you a quick way would be to use Split Element, and I'll break the wall. So I've broken it in the middle there, and then we've got 2 pieces again, and I can select one of those, and this time just drag that away. But can you think of any problems with that approach? If you make an opening like that? How are they in real life? If you have, I'll show you the section, maybe it's not clear, so I'll do a section, and when you're doing these models, make as many sections as you need to see inside. So here I'm going to make a section really just so I can see what I've done there. So notice how the wall opening goes all the way through to the top of the wall. In reality, it wouldn't be like that. You'd have a wall head above that, or you'd have some bit of section of wall above the wall there, above the opening, I mean. So a better way, and I'll show you how to fix an opening. So if you've made an opening like that, it's fairly easy to fix. Just select the wall, drag them back together, and Revit should automatically heal them and make them into one continuous wall again. So another approach would be to go into your section view, select your wall, and then you've got this option, Edit Profile, which I don't think you've done yet, but it's very similar to what you've been doing with floors. When you choose Edit Profile, you'll get that pink or magenta outline, and you can draw your own shapes. So you've got the same options you have for most drawing operations in Revit in the draw panel there. So I'm just going to use the first one there, the line tool, and draw the shape I want the opening to be. You can put accurate dimensions in, of course, but I'm just going to do that roughly. And then you've got, again, split element I've been using already. This time I'm going to use it to break the line at the bottom into two pieces. And then this one here, really important that you know to use trim to corner to join lines like this. That'll make an opening. No, the door will automatically cut a hole for you. Yeah, it's just if you want an opening without a door, that's a really good way. There are other ways. There is an opening tool, believe it or not, that works pretty well. So this opening tool will do something similar, but that Edit Profile tool is really useful. It's a good one to know about. And every wall will give you that option. So there in plan, you know, it looks right. Okay, so one other quick thing. What other main elements do you think you might need once you've got your walls in? What's probably the next most important thing? Before that? Floor. That's right. The walls have got to sit on something, or the building's got to be held up, and usually the floor's sitting underneath your walls. And especially on the upper levels, you need to be, sitting on. You need the furniture and things to sit on something. So, again, on the architecture tab, you've got all those main tools set out that way. So walls, doors and windows will be important, but normally you want to put the floors in first. So once you've got the outer walls, you should just be able to go to the floor tool and pick the outside face of all of your walls on the ground floor. And notice how the way I've done my walls has made the floor a lot easier. Oh, of course, yeah, you can set whatever material you like. Yeah. Oh, so that's what we just did before. I'll go over that again, but yeah, yeah. So, well, I'll show you a quick way. If I just tick there to finish that floor, you do have built in a timber floor. So if I choose that, so this is just a generic simple floor, but I can just go straight to standard timber wood finish. And I'll show you, if I do a perspective view very quickly through there, and then set it to realistic, it's already got a timber material. It's not the best, but it is a wood. And you can change that to any wood you like. So I've got the floor on the ground floor, but of course in section it doesn't look all that presentable yet because the upper floor doesn't have a floor. So when I go to level 1, of course I'm going to make another floor, but this time, again click on the floor tool, this time I'm going to go onto the inside face. And that's a good approach for interiors projects. You don't need to worry too much about the real construction. You can just treat it as a graphical exercise in a way. And if you do the floor on the inside face of your walls, it will work pretty well. And again, the way I've done the walls has made that easier. So if you spend a bit of time just setting up the walls in a sensible way, it will make other things easier. Tick to finish. And now I'm getting an option about attaching. So what would you say here? This is a bit of a tricky one. If it's asking you to attach walls to your floor. Yeah. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. So here I would say yes, I think, because I can be pretty confident that all the floors, so all the walls under the floor I've just made should stop or should finish at the bottom of that floor. But you may have other walls, so these walls here, if they were under my floor, I'd say no, because I don't want them to stop. But yeah, here I probably would say yes. Then for this one, when it's asking about joining overlapping geometry, for that one just always say yes. And so in my 3D view, I can check that it hasn't made any walls too low, and that looks pretty good. And into my section view, I can see then I've got a floor, you know, nicely cut through without it going through the walls there. And once we've got a roof on there, that should give a pretty good shell to work in. So, oh, okay, that's what I'm going to finish in a minute anyway. I'll put this on YouTube. So, okay, so look, I won't go too much further, but the last thing I wanted to mention, we'll probably go, I think, more into this next week. A lot of people have been asking about modelling things for their own designs. And so up until now, we've been using mainly pre-built components. And you can obviously get them from the library if you go to component. And then load family, you can get all these different things that other people have made. To make your own, I'm going to cancel that. The best way to start is to use this option here, model in place. Now, you've got a couple of ways of getting to that. You can, if you'd like, just click on that down arrow next to component and go straight to model in place. But if you click place a component, then you'll still get that option there, model in place. It'll ask you for a category, and at first you probably won't know which to use, so just use generic models. That covers everything. Just scroll down in the list under G. Yep. The name is up to you. I might just call this platform. Yep. So you can actually use floors for those, but these work really well for platforms. Okay, so you'll see then you might go to the Modify tab and you won't see any modelling tools. To see the modelling tools, you've got to go to the Create tab, and then you'll see all the basic modelling tools. So up the top left. So notice you get a new set of tabs. Normally you've got architecture and all those other things, but here we've got Create instead of architecture, and we don't have walls and doors and floors. We're making things from scratch. So we'll have a look at all these solid modelling tools next week, but for now I'll just quickly look at extrusion.
So would you kind of use this if you're doing your own joinery or your own that kind of thing?
Yep, anything like that, yep. So if I make an extrusion here, that might be, again, for a platform, so I might have a raised area at the back here. Might just follow the wall shape in that section there, but maybe then I might have a curved part like this. So you can draw any shape you like. And then I might want that to be 300 high. I'll finish that. And then I might want a step. So I'm going to go and make another extrusion. And I'll just trace those lines, or if you don't like tracing, Revit's fantastic because it has this pick lines tool, which will just pick anything you've drawn, so you don't have to trace it. And you can then offset, just like AutoCAD. So I'll make it 250. Just pick those lines. Maybe draw a couple of lines for the different sides at the top and the bottom. So I'm just drawing shapes, just like AutoCAD. Trim to join them together. So it's just a 2D shape, but I can set a different height to this new extrusion. I'll make it 150. Tick to finish, and that's my own custom family that's made up of these two extrusions. So I'm going to finish the model now and go to my perspective view, and there it is.
Wow. Okay. So you can create your own stairs as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's really good for low height stairs because the stair tool's kind of overkill and things like that, and this gives you a bit more control. I really like those steps. I know it's embarrassing, but in Fraser, whatever you want to call it, in his apartment, how he's got the detailing on those steps is pretty good. Yeah, we'll have a look at the detailing. If you've ever wondered how to do platform stairs or steps.
Can you do a platform that is not joins to the walls,
Oh, of course. Oh, of course, yeah, yeah.
Can you quickly do it now?
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. Okay, yeah. All right, so I'll just do something in here that maybe would be for a you know, display or something. So I'll just go back to here. Okay, so model in place. And I'll just do generic models again. And extrusion. You can use any of these shapes. So I'm going to do a polygon. Just something different. Yeah, just draw whatever shape you like. And then set your height. Yep. There we go. Done. Yep. 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 So, yeah, yep, yep. So we'll turn around and there it is. Yep. Exactly. And then put something on top of it that looks photorealistic. Yep, exactly. Yep. So, yes, that should get you started. And then next week we'll have a look at those other modelling tools. Yeah, that's great.